Welcome to the BGB podcast, the podcast about everything you need to know about working as a dentist in the Netherlands. Today, we sat down with Nienke. Welcome.
Hi, thank you very much. I'm very pleased that you're willing to have me. Thank you.
Nice to see you, by the way, because you are a colleague who works remotely, so it's always nice to catch up with you as well.
Yeah, same here. Always nice, always a pleasure.
Well, let's first dig a bit more about, who you actually are and what you do for BGB dentistry.
All right. I've been working for BGB for a very long time, basically since the beginning. So it's more than 10 years, I think now. And I've had many, many roles. We've grown a lot in the last year. So we started out being a very small team. So I think, have had all the roles there are to be had within the company of um, employing foreign people and helping them to start a life in the Netherlands. But my role at the minute, I've been doing that for the last 3 years, is relocation. I'm responsible for everything that involves relocation, which is quite a lot. On the on a personal note, I live in Barcelona with my two dogs, and that's me.
Nice. Thank you for sharing more about that part. Because I'm sure that many of dentists, of course, they already heard some previous episodes where we explained the whole program, how that works. Also, we spoke with Rita, our dentist advisor,
Yes.
who shared her experience about the dental clinics in the Netherlands.
Hmm.
But how does the process with the dentists go? How do you approach them? What is the first contact you have with them?
The first contact I have with them is once they are already in the language course, and it will be like the second part when they're in the
Mhm.
Netherlands already studying. It's something that is important to do, to have contact with them, because it's something they really are worried about, and rightly so. So, also because we do take into account a lot of personal circumstances.
Mhm.
In the easiest way, it will just be someone who travels alone, is very young, flexible, no pets, so no dogs, no kids, etc. But that, of course, is not always the case. So especially when there are families and children involved, then I really, really need to get to know that person a lot better, because then we need to take into account, for example, where the partner works. We
Yeah.
need to find a house that is near a school, but I also are responsible for finding the schools itself.
Mhm.
And as in Holland, that is a bit of a problem. Like, we have waiting lists, not only for the dentist, but also for schools. So it's quite a big process to take into account, especially when more people are involved.
Yeah.
So I do talk to them in the second part. I arrange a video call. I make sure that I have all the information that I need. Also, for example, do they have a driver's license? Are they afraid? Because a lot of
Yeah.
times people are afraid and really don't want to drive a car. So I have to take that into consideration when I arrange the temporary accommodation. But of course, also when I find their house, their permanent house, or at least
Yeah.
permanent. So yeah, and it's important that they get to know me, because the minute they leave the course and start working, I am their first contact person.
Yeah. Yeah. I think within the team we usually call it like a buddy kind of system that you become the best friend of the dentist at the
That's what I
moment.
always say to them. Be prepared. I'm your new best friend. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, as you mentioned, you basically get in contact with them. You have a video call during the time that they're studying at the BGB Academy. Dutch language, of course.
Yeah.
But after that, they finish the language course. what are the next steps, what they have to take, let's say, with you, or what you help them with further?
So that's when the stress happens, because when they go to their clinic, they will have 1 week of an internship, and they also have actually a practice week from BGB, which is a very, very good course, actually. But then we are not gonna already rent a house, because there still is a chance that the match is not the ideal match that we thought. And since, of course, renting a house means that you at least have a leasing contract or a rental contract for 12 months, without any notice, so you cannot leave. It is very important that we're absolutely sure that the dentist will stay there. So what I do is I arrange an Airbnb near to the clinic. And then if I get the go-ahead from account management that in the end is responsible for finding the right match, then I've got the lovely job of finding the permanent home. And we do that together. But of course, the dentist is working the whole day. So it's we do it together, which is good, because I cannot do it alone. So we both are in a constant search after housing. The good thing is, of course, that we've been doing this for several years. Well, we've always been doing it. But of course, the market is getting crazier and crazier. The good thing is I have a lot of contacts. So, and I already know beforehand more or less where the dentists are going. So I can already start my search a little bit earlier. And I do, because you have contacts, you sometimes come in a little bit easier than if you don't have any contacts, right? So so that's what I do, and I do it together with them. And it's really a very frustrating period. I always warn them about that, and it's tough for them, because new clinic, new country, new language, and then and you just have to work full time, and then you have this stressful anxiety that you need to find a house. But I'm very good at my job, saying it so myself, and no one is living under a bridge that I know of, and I would know, believe me. So I always find it, but sometimes it takes a little bit longer. But the dentist never really experiences the stress as much as I do, because we like them to focus on work. So that's a little bit what I do. And since the group comes in one go, that period when I first need to find the Airbnbs and then need to find a permanent house, is a stressing time, but I have to say it's very rewarding. I literally do a little dance when I find that house.
Well, of course, besides helping with temporary housing and then permanent house to find in the area where they actually going to live, in different cities all over the country, are there also other things that you helping our dentists with, or is it basically more focused on getting them ready with the houses, or are there other things that you also do besides that?
Basically everything they need to become a Dutch citizen. So it starts, for example, with getting their temporary BSN number. So we take care of that. After they have the BSN number, I get them a bank account, which of course is also very important. Once they have the house, I of course make sure that I read all the contracts, etc. I arrange for them that they have gas, water, light, internet, as I just mentioned, and also of course that they get the permanent BSN when they go to the gemeente, to the council. Also, when they need furniture, I will help them with making sure that they can order stuff. Well, I do it for them. If they need like a new washing machine, basically anything. And a lot of things can happen within a house. If they need a parking permit, then I arrange that for them. I get them, of course, the health insurance. I make sure they have a DGD, which is like a login details that have to do with all the administration that goes through the government.
Yeah.
I get them a doctor, so just a general practitioner doctor, which also they have a lot of waiting lists. So
Yeah.
sometimes I need to contact the insurance to make sure that they have, if we have, for example, a dentist that needs special medication, I need to contact a doctor's health
Yeah.
insurances, anything, anything to do
Yeah.
with yeah, becoming a Dutch citizen. It has to be done in a very small period of time. So, yeah,
Yeah.
anything.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say it's very broad area that you cover actually for the dentist. Um, and of course, as you mentioned, I believe the most difficult is actually to get the house in
absolutely.
a permanent house. Obviously, that's where we also spend a lot of time on helping them with this,
Yes.
besides other things that are more administrative, such as
Yeah,
you mentioned, registration at the city hall or getting a bank account and
that's
stuff
the
like that.
easy stuff.
That's
That's the
easy.
easy
But
stuff.
of
Yeah.
course, there are other things that are quite more complicated or complex. And in that case, I believe it's great that they have someone they can always ask, what should I do when they are panicking? And
Yeah.
that's, of course, you in that case.
Yes,
Um,
which that is actually also a part of my job too.
yeah,
Sometimes, there are tears and everything, and people are, yeah, you have to talk for hours just to say everything will be okay, I promise. But I totally understand. It's a very stressful period, and it's good to have someone who literally holds your hand. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I went through that as well, right? So I
I know.
remember it was nice to have people around who help you.
Yes, exactly.
Um, but yeah, of course, this is the period when the dentists are kind of landing in a country, they're getting used to the new life, they are settling in the new house, in a new city, new clinic. Um, of course, that's not the end of your body role because are you in contact with dentists, for example, after 2 years they are already living here? Does it happen often to you?
Yes. The thing is, that especially after 2 years, because before the rental contracts were maximum 2 years, so then they needed another house again. So then we could just start all over because we keep on being responsible for the housing. So when contracts end or they go to a new clinic for whatever reason, then I'm the one who
Yeah,
just starts again with finding a new house, making sure that the old house is taken care of with everything that comes with it.
yeah,
So yes, in the best case scenario, I just see them at the BGB parties, great parties by the way, and then it's just lovely to see how well they have settled in and how happy they are.
yeah,
We take away a lot of stress when it comes to the housing problems that we have. So it just goes on. It's a continuous thing. But normally, if it goes well and they're very happy at the clinic and they're allowed to
yeah.
stay in their house, that's when I'm very happy. And then we just have a drink on a BGB party, and that's the great part of it. But most of them I talk to again. Yeah, definitely. And of course, you get a bond with them, so we stay in touch just to see how they are.
Yeah,
And the happy news is also, I always tell them, please don't only call me or send me an app when you're in trouble. It's
yeah,
also nice to hear from you too, how good everything is. Of course, I always know how they're doing because within the internal team, I always know exactly where everyone
yeah,
is and
yeah.
what they're doing. So yeah, but they come back to
Nice.
me when they need my help, which I always will. I will always help them through all the years and after as well.
And well, at the beginning, when we started talking, you also mentioned that you are a bit of recruiter or that you are helping recruitment in some way. Um, how does that work? What exactly do you do? Because as you mentioned, you live in Spain, so it has something to do with that, of course.
Exactly. Yeah. I have been a recruiter earlier on when we, like 8 years ago or something. So I do know the process of recruiting. But since we are over the whole of Europe, and we go everywhere, we go to visit universities and stuff. Of course, for me, it's Spain is the easiest way. I just take a train, sometimes a plane, and I can be anywhere very soon, very quickly, right?
Yeah.
Also, because I speak Spanish, that is, I think, for especially for the Spanish, they really like to talk in their own language. They don't always feel very comfortable in English. So I go to the universities, I go to all the job fairs. And of course, I've been living now for 6 months in Barcelona. So for everyone who is listening that lives near Barcelona, please, and you wanna have a cup of coffee with me, let me know, because I'm weekly in Barcelona for personal interviews.
Yeah, maybe to close up this session about what you do for BGB and how you help dentists during the process of relocation. I could call it, you are relocating manager at the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's the name of the role. Um,
Slash body. Yeah, it's a bit of a weird title.
from the perspective, seeing how challenging but also rewarding the process can be, do you have any tips or advice for dentists who are considering moving to the Netherlands?
Yes, I do. And I'm not saying that because I want you to come to Holland through BGB, because of course I do. But whatever you do, don't try to do it alone, because nowadays, I'm sure you can easily find a job. There's a lot of work out there in the Netherlands, but there are no housing, and there's no housing. There are no houses, basically. And it's getting worse. The thing is, you have to understand that if you want to rent a house, just one of the basic things you need is
Yeah.
3 salary slips to show the real estate agent. And you need a fixed contract, which is, I mean, you're not going to have that when you just move in. Probably your Dutch is not good enough yet to know to really sell yourself.
Yeah.
So to get in with the real estate agencies is going to be very difficult. So it will take you quite a long time to get into a house, and then till that time you have to go into temporary housing, which is very expensive. And it's basically, if you're working full time, I think it will be a huge hassle. So and this is only the housing. And if you see what my, of course, all the documents with the big registratie, the safety net we have. So if you want to try it on your own, please make sure you already have a house before you go.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my advice.
I think
Or
that's
come to us.
I think that's a good tip to close up this this episode, because I think now everyone understands how difficult some things can be along the way of relocating to the Netherlands, and how we or Nienke can help you on the way to take this step. Thank you for taking the time, talking to
Thank
me,
you.
answering the
Thank you
question,
for
being here.
Yeah. All right. Well, take care and say hi to everyone.
I will. Bye bye.
Bye.